Nathan Zegura here in Philadelphia, where the Browns go to 2-0 in the preseason for the first time since 2021 with a 22-13 victory over the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the starters of the Browns and Eagles were not participants in this game. They got a lot of work over the course of those two joint practices earlier in the week, about 60 snaps, in fact, a full game's worth of reps. So great work was done there. But in this game, it was notable for the start of Dillon Gabriel, the Browns' third-round pick, making his preseason debut. And boy, did he look good on the opening drive, led the Browns right down the field for an Amani Marshall touchdown on the drive. Gabriel would convert multiple third downs. In fact, the Browns would start the game 5 for 5 on third down, 4 of them coming on passes from Dillon Gabriel. He'd finished today 13 of 18, 72% completions for 143 yards, averaging nearly 8 yards per attempt. Now, he did throw an interception that became a pick six, and that's when they'll watch in tape. Something happened there. It was a levels concept. Supposed to have a deep, a medium, and a short. Well, the medium ended up getting pushed down into the short. Dillon needs to learn from that, not throw the football. But in terms of his command, the ball was out quick. It was in rhythm. He could keep his eyes down the field even when the pocket got a little bit muddy, and he showed arm strength and accuracy, able to work the ball to all levels of the field. I thought a very impressive debut. But the turnovers, that's what they're going to talk about. The pick six I mentioned, and then on another drive on a handoff, didn't quite get where he needed to get on that outside zone play to Pierre Strong. The ball hitting Pierre Strong's elbow, being fumbled and recovered by the Eagles. Now, Dillon Gabriel did produce almost 200 yards of total offense. He had 3 scoring drives that he led, including in a 2-minute drill where the Browns ended up behind the 6, made a great throw to Caden Davis, and then got them into field goal range. So 3 scoring drives, multiple drives, 4 of them, in fact, into Eagles territory in the first half. As I said, he threw for 143 yards. That'd be 286 over the course of a game. The Browns had almost 400 yards of offense if you look at what they did in the first half. Ultimately, though, the Browns would outgain in this game the Philadelphia Eagles 331-88. It was just a dominant performance from the Cleveland Browns defense the entire game. And that's been fun to see. This defense has been so good. We've raved about the depth of it. Well, Julian Okwara, 2 sacks last week. He won't get credited with a sack this week, but hit Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the former Brown, as he threw. The ball fell into the arms of KJ Henry. He took it. So pick 6 for both of the teams in this game. Browns did a good job. Dustin Hopkins made his field goal. Schmidt made a long field goal at the end of the first half as well, where Nick Sirianni tried to ice the kicker, drawing a little bit of a reaction from Kevin Stefanski, and Sirianni found that very, very humorous. But Schmidt, the Syracuse product, put it right down the middle. So all in all, again, a good day for the Browns. No turnovers in the first game, 2 today. But if you wanted to see Dillon Gabriel operate, if you had questions about his size or his arm strength, certainly did not show up in this game. You saw elite arm strength there from Dillon Gabriel, or better than average arm strength, but certainly the ability to drive the ball to intermediate levels. And like I said, he just knew where to go with the ball. There were times he'd get to his 3rd, 4th progression in rhythm and accurate. So that's very good. Browns have to be encouraged by where things stand with their 2 young quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders, who we saw last week, and Dillon Gabriel, who we saw this week. Now, when the Browns board the plane here, they are turning the page back onto a regular season mode. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, that'll be like a normal Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Kevin Stefanski saying after the game, no rush to name a starter, but we will get that announcement, I would imagine, sooner rather than later at the quarterback position. All signs point to Joe Flacco. He's been around. He's been healthy. Quite frankly, he has been very, very good, and we all remember that magical playoff run he led us on in 2023. So we're going to game mode. We should see some of the starters in a dress rehearsal next Saturday as the Browns look to wrap up the preseason, for they'll have 2 weeks to get ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. But a successful game here today for the Browns. Speaking of the Bengals, do you want to catch that game in VIP style? Well, that's all you got to do. Go to vividseats.com/Browns. They got premium terrace experiences. They got VIP lounge experiences that are still available. So get to the home opener and do it in VIP style. Yeah.